the fact that the Dion Liberals are poised to unveil some form of a carbon tax, and it's been proved to be very controversial.
And it's certainly the way we've got to go. Canadians don't hesitate to pay $90 a ton to put garbage into landfills. And yet we act as if the atmosphere is limitless and we can dump stuff into it and not pay a price for it. It doesn't. We've got a government there that has imposed a carbon tax, and I take my hat off to them because economists have been telling us this is the most effective way that we can get people to begin to change their behavior. It's a revenue neutral. It's not a tax grab. Governments can use some of the revenue that they get now to spend on the things that are going to help the poorer people in terms of rapid transit. There's got to be some kind of tax rebate for people who are lower income. But to oppose this, loves it. I thought that what we've got right now is a fossil fuel industry that the Canadian taxpayer is now still subsidizing at a time when they're making massive windfall profits. Sweden, $150 a ton.
And we're
in
talking,
British Columbia,
yes,
we're yelling and screaming at a $10 tax.
Yeah. Now, well, where
coming? Look, everybody knows we're moving to a carbon-constrained future, Jane. The race is on in terms of how best to price carbon in Canadian society and the Canadian economy, and he's putting forward some very bold ideas. I think, in a sense, he's igniting the debate in Canada, and it's long overdue.
Yeah, Rick Dykstra, courage or stupidity, do you think, on the part of the Liberals?
Well, I certainly, David used an interesting word, and that was ignite. I think what certainly every time Canadians are going to start their cars, whether they're going to turn the heat on in their homes or whether they're going to turn on the electricity, they're going to be reminded that the way that Stéphane Dion wants to do this is raise taxes on everything. And
about winning the race going forward. It's about developing the new technologies. It's about sending the right price signals into Canadian society, and this is exactly what we're going to debate.
But you won't have any new money, Mr. McGuinty. You won't have any new money
Peggy,
in order to do that. No, you won't.
Peggy,
if you're saying
you
this
have
is
to wait,
revenue
Peggy.
neutral, if it's revenue neutral, where will the money come from?
Here,
What we're saying is, don't put in a revenue neutral system. Make the big polluters pay. Use that money to find green solutions.
Stand by,
Your
Peggy.
system doesn't do that.
Stand by. You haven't seen the plan, nor have the Conservatives, and
Well,
it's interesting how we can.
Though? We keep hearing stand
because
by.
we're working on it. Because
Well, you
Mr.
sure can get it
McGuinty.
done when you have the
Before the
chance.
David,
Look, I'm convinced
David,
we're going to have options to present to Canadians very soon. It'll be very encouraging. It'll be
you know what,
very,
David?
very,
We've
very
heard that.
effective.
We've heard that story from Mr. Dion before he was
Which
elected
story?
leader. We've heard it from your party.
Which story?
For the last 13 years. That
Which
you're going
story,
to have
Rick?
a plan the plan that's going to come out real soon. Your leaders had 8 iterations of a plan on carbon tax. He still has not come out and said what he's going
Rick,
to do.
it's not right to
so
make
if you
things
want to
up.
foster
It's
a
not right to
discussion
make
around
things
this
up.
issue, put forward your plan.
It's not right
put forward your plan.
It's not right
We
to
put
make
forward our
things
plan.
up, Rick. This
You
is the
haven't.
problem. You're making things up, and I understand. I understand why PMO is so defensive, because they're desperately worried about this idea. It holds well in Canadian society. It's
We are
important
desperately
now,
worried
and
because
it's
of what you're
based
going
on
to do
science.
Canadians.
It's based on
David,
science.
what we're concerned about is what your party wants to do to Canadians in terms of taxing them. You talk about revenue neutral. There isn't a tax that a Liberal has ever implemented that was revenue neutral. It always takes more from Canadians, and that's what this plan is going to be all about.
Yeah.
You know it.
And you haven't seen it yet, have you?
Well, I think that's the issue.
You've heard 8 iterations of it, David.
Peggy Nash.